Hello. So today I want to talk about cheaters, people who cheat while they are in a relationship. And the reason I want to bring this up is because cheating has been glorified on television, it's been glorified on social media, it's been glorified in conversations, regular conversations amongst people who think it's just normal to say that they cheat or they have a side chick or whatever the case may be. Songs, there's a lot of songs that glorify cheating, right? And so I wanted to give my 2 cents on how I feel about it. And so welcome to another episode of Girlfriend Let Me Tell You, the podcast, because I have something to say. And I'm your host, Tasha. So one of the things that I've noticed is frequently there are people on social media who are pulling the pranks as if they are cheating on their boyfriend or their girlfriend or their spouse, and they may not be cheating in real life. I don't know why they do the prank, but I feel like it's disrespectful to the relationship that you're in, because whatever you're doing it for likes from strangers, people who are outside of your relationship. And I personally believe that there are a lot of people who play these pranks and they think it's funny, but then your partner is probably thinking, where did this come from? Like, what made you want to do this? Are you trying to tell me something? It can make them self-conscious about the relationship that you're in. It can make them second guess your truthfulness in the relationship. It could cause a lot of problems or make them have thoughts in the back of their mind of what you're doing, where you are, who you're with, should they be worried? It's just something extra to add to the plate of stress that already comes with everyday living, even if you're in a relationship or not, right? So I see people playing those pranks, and I always think, if I was in a relationship, I wouldn't dare play those tricks. The ones where they have like the recording playing with someone, like a man has the voice of a female and it sounds like she's calling him babe or whatever. Or the prank whenever you come in a house and somebody's laying on the couch, laying on the bed with the stuffed clothes, it looks like someone is in the bed. Or whenever people just do crazy stuff, right? Me personally, I wouldn't do that. Now, in my last relationship that I had, which was recently, it was during the pandemic. Seems like the pandemic was so far away, but we're only in 2025. But when I was in a relationship, I never thought they were funny. Like, I would skip past those videos. Like, why are they doing this? People get hurt. And then some people take it too far. They don't even do a little bit of the joke and then move on. It's like, oh, well, let me keep going for the views. Let me keep going for the comments. But after you turn that camera off, because I would like to think that they are pre-recording whatever the prank is, they are pre-recording that. But after you do the prank and you turn the camera off, what conversations are you having with your partner? Like, no, I'm just doing this for likes. And does your partner agree with it? Because if not, what in the world is going on? Why would you do that, right? So like I said, it's glorified all over the place. And some people feel like they can cheat and get away with it. Some people are with other people just to use them for whatever they can get from them, whatever. And that's wrong too. I'm not one of those people. Now, I feel like whenever it comes to cheating, some people might think it's only whenever I don't know what words to get me banned on here, so I'm just going to say when you do the nasty with somebody. Some people think that that's about it. That's all you can do to be considered cheating. But in my eyes, I feel like anything that you do with someone else outside of your relationship that has to be a secret or will make you feel guilty if your partner found out, that's cheating in a sense, right? If you're getting a phone number from somebody that you are attracted to, someone that you feel like you could slide outside of your relationship with, if you exchange numbers with someone that you feel like is going to be more than friends, or someone that gets you aroused, or someone that you call to make you feel good when you're not feeling so good in your relationship, that's cheating. I also feel like inappropriate flirting. Now, I feel like even if you are a lady and you are in your soft woman era and you see someone that may not be ugly, someone that you could, what is it? There's something hopping from tree to tree. I guess it's a squirrel, but it's black. Oh, it is a squirrel. Yeah, if you're like, if you have like a feminine voice, like, hello, how are you doing? You know, smiling and stuff, that's pretty cool. But whenever you're doing the flirting where you're actually hugging people, you're rubbing their back, they're hugging you around your waist, or they're hugging you from the back, or they're kissing you on your neck, they're doing things that you know are truly inappropriate. I feel like that's cheating if you encourage it and if you don't put a stop to it, okay? Now, the exception to you not putting a stop to it is if you tell your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife, and you're like, hey, this person is tripping, you might want to say something to them, then that's the only exception to allowing it temporarily, okay? I also feel like people who give these hints to cheating and then acting like, oh, I was just playing, I was just talking, I was just asking a question, I was just curious. That happens with a lot of people, or anyone who asks someone they're interested in out for a drink. You don't label it as a date, but it is a date, because when you get there, it's just the two of you. You're eating, you're drinking, you're laughing, and then the man pays for the bill, or if the woman pays for hers and he pays for his, but then you leave together, end up at one of each other's houses, or you end up somewhere secluded and private. Baby, that's cheating, okay? And the only reason I bring up those examples is because that's things that I would not do if I were in a relationship, and those are things that I won't do with someone who is in a relationship, okay? So I'm not a cheater. I'm not even interested in cheating, okay? But I have cheated once in my life, and I'm gonna tell y'all the story because this was so long ago. So I was in high school, and I had to have been in, like, I want to say the 10th grade. Yeah, I want to say I was in the 10th grade. And so where I'm from, we didn't have a lot of things to do. We didn't have a lot of places to go. So what we did as high schoolers, what we did as kids, was on the weekends we would go roller skating or we would go to the movies, right? And we had to drive about 35 minutes to get there. There was nothing nothing local for us to do. Now, after I graduated from high school, we got a 24-hour Walmart, but I had already moved out of the city by then. And shoot, Friday night football games, Thursday night JV football games or sports or whatever. But as far as going out and hanging with your friends, we didn't have that unless you went to somebody's house. But who's having a house party all the time in the country? We weren't. Back to the story, because child, I would get off subject. But we had we would go roller skating or we would go to the movies. And in the 10th grade, I didn't have a license, I didn't have a driver's permit, I didn't have a car. So my granny would take me to meet my friends, and I wasn't the only one. There were quite a few of us who wanted to go skating, who wanted to go to the movies, but none of us had cars. So our parents would take us and drop us off, or they would go and sit in the parking lot, or whenever we went skating, that place had a 24-hour Walmart. They might sit in Walmart or go get something to eat or whatever while we were having fun as kids. Well, at the time I had a boyfriend, and I had ridden with my male cousin. So it was him and his guy friend, and it was me. I can't remember if anyone else was in there, but I know the three of us were in the back seat of the van, and my granny and my cousin's grandma were sitting in the front because my cousin's grandma was the one driving. So we're back there, and my cousin's friend, which was actually my ex-boyfriend, we were sitting back there, and I was in the middle of the two of them, and he ended up using his finger on me, right? And after the fact, I was like, I probably shouldn't have did that. So when I went back to school, I was telling my current boyfriend, well, my boyfriend at the time, I was telling him like, hey, I cheated on you. He was like, really? And I was like, yeah, I cheated on you. I let this guy touch me with his finger. And he said, really? And I said, yeah. He said, well, I'm gonna confront him. I was like, yeah, I'm just trying to be honest, whatever. I want us to be honest in this relationship. He went and asked the guy, and the guy was like, that didn't happen. And he was like, well, she told me it did. And I was like, it did happen. He was like, no, that did not happen. I did not mess with her. I didn't touch her, none of that. So my boyfriend comes back, and he's just like, I know you didn't cheat on me, but if you don't want to be with me, that's all you have to say. You don't have to make up a story. And I'm like, I did cheat on you. I'm apologetic. I mean, I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to hurt you. He was like, nah, you just don't want to be with me. Just say that. So I'm like, is he playing right now? Is he kidding? He was dead serious. He thought that I made up the lie because I didn't want to be with him. So that's when I realized, you know what? Well, I didn't realize at the time because we still stay together. But looking back on that story, whenever I think about it from time to time, especially when people cheat, and I'm able to say, well, I am not a cheater. because I haven't cheated since like 1998. 1997, 1998. I haven't cheated in a long time. So whenever I think about people cheating, I'm like, it's just that simple in some cases. If you don't want to be with somebody, first of all, don't be with them. Or secondly, if you are with them, go ahead and call it off. That's all you have to do. And I wrote some notes down so that I can get through this episode. But if you're not happy, just leave. You don't have to lie to people. You don't have to lie to people. Y'all, I'm outside and this hummingbirds. Let me see if I can get y'all. It's not going to show up. I was trying to show y'all. Anyway, yeah, there's no reason to lie to people. I don't think that we should be lying to people or any of that. I also feel like you should tell the person that you want to leave. Hopefully you are with somebody who is open to communication, because I can't imagine being with somebody that you want to break up with and it's difficult, like it's going to be a challenge, like it's a threat to your life. Which brings me to one of these things. Is the person that you're with approachable? Hey, I just want to take a moment to pause for the cause and remind you all that the details for this episode are down below in the show notes. And also my sponsor for this episode, which is A Cup of Stars Tarot. Those details are below as well in case you want to get your own personalized tarot card reading, or you can go ahead and join me on my social media pages and you can do the collective tarot card readings that we have weekly. All right, don't forget, look down below. Enjoy the rest of their episode. Okay, are they the type of person that you can talk to in private about something that's serious, something that's bothering you? Is that the type of person that you're with? Now, I'm single currently. I've never been married, but I've been engaged before. I will say this: I do not enter into relationships with people who I am afraid of. I do not enter into relationships with people who make me feel like I can't talk to them. People will make me feel like I'm not going to be safe if I'm alone with them. I don't enter into relationships with people who have very bad tempers. I don't I don't even entertain people who like to yell a lot. I don't entertain people who are abusive. And it may not just be a man who abuses women. It might be a man who just likes to fight. Like his whole meaning, his whole reason for leaving the house is to pick a fight. Whenever he sees somebody his size, he wants to pick a fight. He wants to argue. He wants to be confrontational. He wants to cuss people out. He wants to push people around. He's a bully because he's big. I don't deal with people like that, because guess what? The day that he can't find anybody his size to pick on, you're going to always be available. Baby, I ain't got time. I don't deal with people who talk about putting their hands on other people, because I don't understand what your desire is to hurt others. But I'm not about to be waiting around for my turn. I'm not about to do that. So if I feel like this is a person who is abusive just naturally, or if I feel like it's a person I can't talk to, I'm not going to entertain them. I'm definitely not going to go into a relationship with them. I'm going to exit stage left while I'm still alive. Okay? I'm just going to do that. Now, I used to feel like, oh, I want me a roughneck. Gotta have a what? That was not me. That's not me. That is not me at all. I don't want one of them. Especially not a 2025 one of them. No, I don't want one of them. Something else that is a red flag, that is one of those things that you might look on later and be like, looking back, oh, I should have known, is somebody who jokes about beating up on women. Somebody who does the hand motions, oh, I choke you, I'll smack a bitch. Stuff like that. I won't be with them either, because I feel like they are testing to see what your reaction is going to be to them saying it, and then it'll just be words, and it moves into hand movements and stuff to them actually doing whatever it is whatever it is they joke about saying they're going to do, they're going to do it. Okay, so I won't mess with that neither. I feel like on our part though, when it comes to being with somebody, because keep in mind, we're talking about reasons that people cheat, and some people cheat because they're afraid to leave. I'm gonna say that if you are out here trying to find someone to save you, don't go out here getting innocent people who have no idea what's going on. And don't try to fight fire with fire, which means if you have an abusive guy who loves to fight, don't cheat on him with another person that likes to fight, because baby, they might not want to fight when they get face to face. They might want to shoot, and you might get shot. Okay, because once that fight is over, you're still the common denominator. Don't even do it. Now, there are some women out there who are just as rough as a man. They can go toe to toe with a man. Their homegirls might jump in and beat him up, and then she can leave freely. There might be some women out here who are totally abusive to men. Here's the thing, though. There are some women who like that. I'm not talking about the women who like to be choked and smacked during intercourse. I'm talking about the women who don't mind being choked and smacked and kicked and beat up and bruised and broken, and their feelings are hurt and they're crying and their face is swollen up and all this stuff. Some people, they just don't mind that. And it's not because they just want to say they have a man. It's because of what the man is giving them. It could be money, it could be gifts, it could be free rent, it could be a car, it could be drugs, it could be clothing, it could be trips, it could be free time, it could be the man is cheating on her, bringing women to the house, but she still gets to buy whatever she wants. She gets to go where she wants most of the time. She still has to be, picky about her friends, but she's always hiding something that he has done to her. Some women like the gift that comes with the abuse. On the other hand, there are men who like to be told what to do. There are men who like to be controlled. There's men who like for women to put their hands on them because it turns them on. I'm not in either one of them boats. Okay? That's not me. That's just not me. Okay? But there are people who like it, so I'm going to say that. However, if you are a person who wants to get something from somebody, I am asking you not to lead that person on. Let people know your true intentions, especially if you're going to go as far as saying, yes, I'll be your girlfriend. Yes, I'll marry you. Don't lead people on to where it's like, I'm only with you because I know I'm going to get something from you. I know it. I'm not hoping it. I'm not wishing it. I'm not, looking forward to it, but not 100%. These people know me being with you guarantees this. Okay? And that's why a lot of relationships keep going, even though they are abusive or they're toxic, because the person knows they're going to get something from it, right? I'm single because there are some conversations that turn me off now that used to pull me in a long time ago. And I feel like once a concern arises, I need to be able to talk about it then. Now, I'm not always like, hey, let's talk about it. It just happened 10 seconds ago. Sometimes I need to marinate on what I'm going to say and the points I'm going to make, just in case it is my fault that we are where we are in this relationship, right? Or situationship, or if we're just talking, whatever it is, I have to ask some questions. And I used to think that I was asking too many questions until we ended up being together and I realized I didn't ask enough. Okay, one time I got proposed to by somebody else's husband, and he told me that he had been divorced for 2 months when I first met him. That's the first thing he said. Hey, I've been divorced for 2 months. I'm like, well, that's what's up. And then a couple months in, he's like, I want to be with you. I want to marry you. Okay, well, let me see your divorce papers. Oh, well, I went to get them from my wife. Your wife or your ex-wife? My wife. We signed in the wrong line. But if you love me like you say you love me, you'll wait for us to start the process over. It only takes a year, and I already told her about you. I don't need permission to be with nobody's husband. I don't want that for me. So you have to keep asking questions and getting proof and all this other stuff, right? I should have asked him for his divorce papers when he first said it. But I didn't know how far we were going or where it was going. But I did ask for him, and we're not married, so there's that on that. But I need somebody that I can talk to, and I don't want somebody who's going to think that I'm nagging them, because I'm not going to say the only, but the only time I can think of now where I have been told that I nag a lot is when I was asking questions that I wasn't getting answers to. Whenever you try to avoid the question and you try to divert to something else, or you try to put it on me, or you try to answer a question with a question, I'm going to keep asking because I need to know. And if that bothers you, if being truthful bothers you, baby, let me go. You don't have to listen to me utter another question. You don't have to listen to me say another word. You don't have to hear my voice. You don't have to see my face. If I'm bothering you that much because you can't give me the truth, or you can't give me what I'm asking for, just leave me alone. Tell me to leave you alone. It'll be mutual. Okay, that's how I feel. Now, something else I want to say whenever it comes to cheating. If you are a cheater, I have a question, and I feel like no one, and maybe someone will say something in the comment section, but if you want to DM me or message me or email me at latasha@girlfriendletmetellyu.com, go ahead and send it to me. But I want to know, for the people who cheat, what is your reason? What are you getting from it, from the other person? What are you telling the other person? Are you truthful to them as well? Why are you risking the relationship that you have with someone else, and why won't you just leave them? And something else I want to say is, if you are with someone and you feel like, I want to hold on to them because of these things that they do for me, could you not find someone who would do those things for you without being in a relationship? So it's more like, we're not together, it's no strings attached, but I can benefit from dealing with you, like you can have friends or you can have associates. I know sometimes people feel like, if I make this person my boyfriend or my girlfriend and we're locked in, that it'll be harder for them to leave. But sometimes we end up in one-sided relationships where only one of us are being served anyway and the other one is not. However, if you're not being served, why don't you just leave? You know? Yeah, why don't you just leave? Seems like it would be easy. Maybe it's easier said than done. I have no idea. But then again, I only date and entertain people who I'm not afraid of. Okay? People I'm not afraid of. And you know, people could be putting on facade. You can't always trust people's first impressions. But for the most part, I need to know, or I need to feel like, if this isn't working, I can walk away and you'll walk away and we don't look back. Okay? But something else, if you are the person who is being cheated on, try not to get distracted by the things that the person is saying to make you stick around. Because once you get in your mind that this is not the person I want to be with, or this is something I cannot deal with, then you need to figure out your exit strategy. Okay? I know in most cases the person might say, I love you. Don't you know how much I love you? I need you. Me? Of all people? You probably like me enough that you want to be with me, but baby, you can live without me because you were doing just fine before I came around, right? Or you were alive when I came around, so it's not like you need me for you to live. Don't let people gaslight you and to make you feel like it's your fault whenever you bring up an issue that bothers you, and they try to say, oh, well, you did this and you did that. Something that my grandma told me was, it's hard to trust the person. Well, she didn't tell me it's hard. She said, don't trust the person who was too quiet. Okay? I have dated people who are quiet around everybody, and then when they get around me, when it's just the two of us, they're just as talkative as can be. But if you're quiet around them and you're quiet around me, what the hell? At what point do you feel comfortable enough to talk to somebody? You know what I'm saying? So also, if you have somebody who wants to gaslight you and make you feel like everything is your fault, they don't take accountability, they're always the victim, they find a way to make it seem like something always happens to them, they're unfortunate, they're unlucky, nobody cares about them, you don't want to hear their side of the story, or whatever the case may be. Let me tell you something. I dated this guy one time. He was my boyfriend, and we were talking, and he was lying, baby. He was lying. And I kept saying, well, tell me. He said, I would tell you, but you won't let me talk. Every time I try to talk, you always got something to say. Whenever I try to explain something to you, you won't let me get my words out to tell you what it is. But if you would just listen, if you would just be quiet, then you would know the answer to your question, because I would tell you. But I can't tell you because you're not listening. Every time I say something, you want to talk. And I'm like, in the time that you kept telling me I wasn't listening, and I was actually listening, you could have given me your answer. Yeah, but I'm saying, whenever I try to get, no, see, I ain't trying to hear that. I'm not trying. You're not going to make me feel like I'm not giving you the floor to talk when you're talking right now, when you're not saying nothing, right? So don't let anyone gaslight you, and don't let anybody give you any empty promises that they're going to break later. Because at this point, if you feel some type of way about this person, you can tell when they're lying. And if you can't tell when the person you're with is lying, now I hope you're still early on in the relationship, or I hope you're just overlooking it. Because I've been in some situations where I overlook the red flags. And I know I'm not the only one, because I'll be like, you know what, one day the person did this, or the person said that. And looking back, they was lying. Looking back, I should have, yeah, that was a red flag. But, you know, I was, you know, sometimes you got to play the fool sometimes, right? Depending on what you're getting from it, that's just how it is. Something I do want to say is to everybody, Avoid starting relationships when you are already in a relationship. This goes for people who are married, because I know a lot of people who are married feel like, well, I'm separated so I can date. Can you date? Yes. Should you? Probably not. Probably not. I'm going to say no. That's a definite no for me, because you're still married. So, excuse me. During the time that you are separated, hey, don't eat my rug. During the time that you're separated, of course, I've never been married before, but I feel like during the time that you're separated, you should be working on the issues that y'all have. Because maybe you're physically separated, like you're living in two different places, somebody moved out or whatever the case may be. But at some point, it seems like you might have to communicate. You might have to verbalize with each other. So ask them, what did I do? Now, if you're one of those people who gaslight people, you don't take accountability, you're a piece of junk, don't even go bothering that person. But because there's a lot of people, like I said earlier, who don't want to listen, who don't want to talk, who don't want to be honest, who don't want to be truthful. They just want to go out here and play these games. And I've even spoken to people who are cheaters. That's all they do. They talk about other stuff. They talk about other stuff. Even when you ask them, you ain't afraid your wife gonna find out? Find out what? I mean, I'm just out here having fun. Blah, 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 blah. I don't even condone cheating. Don't ask me to speak up for you. Don't ask me to lie to the person you're with about you cheating. I'm not going to tell him you cheating, but I'm certainly not going to tell him that you're not. Don't ask me. Don't ask me, because I firmly believe in karma. And the same way that I could be backing you up and telling them, no, he or she, they was not cheating. They was all about you. They was with me. They kept them hands to themselves. They kept their number to themselves. They didn't call nobody, text nobody, didn't touch nobody, hug nobody, kiss nobody, dance up on nobody. None of that. It was just us having a good time, however many of us it is. I'm not saying all that if it's not true. Okay? But I'm not trying to be around people who cheat, because I feel like if I lie for you to get away with your mess, the same thing is going to happen to me. Somebody's going to lie to me about my partner cheating on me. And I always believe whenever karma comes back around, we deserve it. In whatever fashion it comes back. If we can relate it to something that happened in the past, some dirt that we did in the past, and it just happens to be our karma, I feel like we deserve it. Okay? So I'm not a cheater. I haven't cheated since, 97, 98, whatever year that was that I was in 10th grade. I haven't cheated since then. Now, have I been cheated on? I'm pretty sure I have. But I haven't been in that many boyfriend-girlfriend relationships. I just haven't. Well, shoot, karma got me a couple times, because the guy who was married that proposed to me, he was still married. But again, I haven't had that many boyfriends as an adult. I've dated people. I've gone out on dates. I've gone on trips with people. But I haven't been anybody's girlfriend like a whole lot. And it's probably because of my discernment. Because of me saying, no, I'm not going to put up with that. I can wait on a relationship if I have to deal with this person or that stuff. Or this is a red flag. Or this is something I can't put up with. Whatever the case may be. So I'm not single because I can't get nobody. I'm single because there isn't anybody out there right now that makes me want to be with them. Okay? And I've said this before in quite a few episodes. The last boyfriend that I had set the standard for the next boyfriend that I will get. Okay? Whenever you find somebody who makes you feel a certain type of way in certain situations, and it's just like, you know what, I have to have that or better. So the last boyfriend that I had set the standard of whoever I'm going to be with next has to be as good as this man or better. Okay, and he set the standard for a lot of things. I felt spoiled. I felt like I was the only woman who existed. I felt loved. He was affectionate. He fed into my love language. He was a great guy. We had good conversation. We liked and loved spending time with each other. He introduced me to some things. I introduced him to some things. Took me out of my comfort zone for some things as well. It's just the relationship didn't work. And every relationship, well, you can't say every, but you can have a relationship with someone and it not last forever. Okay? I don't want to say you can't expect the next relationship to be your forever relationship. I mean, you can work towards it, but once you get to know people, that's when you realize, okay, this might be my person. And then you you connect with them. You become one with them. Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband or wife, whatever, okay? Still ask questions. Still make conversations, because the questions that you don't ask before you two become one are going to be the questions that make y'all fall apart later, okay? So I just wanted to say that my last boyfriend set the standard for my next boyfriend. And it's just little things, because my thing is, if he can do this, why can't you? You know, especially if I'm reciprocating in a way that you like. Now, I like a guy who likes to be touched. And if he doesn't like to be touched, I can't be with him. Now, my love language is I like to be touched. I like to be hugged. I like to be cuddled. I like to be rubbed. I like my head. Like, I like to be touched. So I can't be with somebody who doesn't like to be touched, because my thing is, you touch people that you like, right? So if you like me, you're going to touch me. But if you won't let me touch you back, does that mean you don't like me? Why can't I put my hands on you? You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I think about too, is the love language next to us. Not next to us. What am I talking about? The love language that we share, or the love languages that we have. And also, whenever people aren't sure what that person is expecting from them, or how they will reciprocate their love, or how they reciprocate how they like you, when you don't know how they're going to do that and you end up with them, you might end up feeling like you want to cheat, or you may want to leave. But either way, because that's the thing that is missing. And I feel like we all need to find out what it is that we are looking for in these relationships before we enter into them. Okay? Because sometimes we don't know that we're dragging people along simply because I don't know what I want. I just know I like you right now and I don't want you to go nowhere. That's how it is sometimes too. Let's see. So I'm almost out of notes. So I do want to say, avoid cheating by all costs. Okay? Don't be with somebody that you're afraid of. Don't confuse a protector. I mean, don't confuse Mr. Beat 'em Up with a protector, because him out here beating up everybody else, he'll beat you too, probably. And that has been proven with some other relationships. Do not provoke people. Do not play with people's feelings. And don't be influenced by what you see on TV, or what you see on social media, or the posts that you read, or the pranks that you see, or the scenes in the movies, or the casual talk that people have. Don't let people make you feel like cheating is okay, because whoever gets cheated on is going to be hurt. Whoever gets cheated on is going to be hurt, either emotionally or mentally or something. It's going to affect them one way or another. And do you want to be the person who causes that? I know some people can do things like that and sleep at night. Me, I would be like, I cannot believe I did that. What was I thinking? I need to apologize. That's how I would think. Because whenever I cheated back in 97, that's all I kept thinking was, I gotta tell him, I gotta tell him, I gotta tell him, I gotta tell him. I want to tell him before somebody else does. And then it blew up in my face anyway. It blew up in my face anyway. But yeah, I just want to come on and give you my 2 cents about cheating. I think it's senseless. I think it's senseless. It's just a few steps that you can take to make sure that the person you're trying to be with is not going to be a burden to you, or they fulfill a need or a few needs that you have. And if they can't fulfill those needs, it's okay to try to be associates, to try to be friends, to try to be chill buddies, whatever the case may be. But you're not the girlfriend, so don't come to me making no special requests, because we're not together. But make that clear whenever you say it too. Okay? So that's my episode today. But like I said earlier, if you are a cheater, or if you have cheated and you would cheat again, let me know what's your thought process whenever you do that. Especially if you're not one of those people who are is it poly? Is it a polyamorous? Is it poly relationship when you have more than one person? Poly. I think that's what it is. Well, anyway, if you're not a person who has a lot of girlfriends who agree to be your girlfriend while you're with somebody else, or if you're not one of those women who has an open relationship and your boyfriend doesn't mind you dating other people, why are y'all cheating? What makes y'all feel like y'all special enough to do that to somebody? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Why are you doing it? Why? Especially married people. No, let me not say married people. Well, yeah, married people too, because cheating is a cheating. I want to know from just anybody, when you cheat, what is your thought process? What makes you do it? What makes you okay with it? And do you feel guilty afterwards? And are you single right now? I want to know that too. But my dog scared me. All in all, that's my episode for today. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for your continued support. Don't forget to check out my sponsors for the podcast. Thank you all again. I'll see you next time. I'm Latasha with Girlfriend Let Me Tell You the Podcast, because I have something to say.